How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing well? All right. So tonight I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. We've been talking a lot about all this silly stuff with the lawsuit and all that stuff. And it is what it is. And, most of that stuff's starting to dissipate now. We're still getting some pushback from certain people that think they're smarter than the system. But people are realizing that they, need to pay it. So it is what it is. But the bottom line of it is we have to be the people taking charge. I am seeing way too many people, too many agents that are calling me up on the, not necessarily on the team, but from all over the place. And I got this buyer, and they're telling me to act like crazy, so I'm following their lead. Why would we follow? I see Gina's got her turtle with her.
Sorry. He's climbing all over my computer.
Too many agents are relying on the guidance of their buyers, or even worse yet, a new agent that has less experience than them. You have to understand that you have the training, you have the ability, and you need to be the person that takes control of the transaction. I'm not saying be aggressive, but you need to guide it the way we need it to go. Has anybody ever been? I know this is going to sound a little bit off, but has anybody ever been to a silent disco?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to show you something real quick because I want you to understand, what this all is about, right? So let's just take a look at this for a second. This is a silent disco, right? Everybody is given a set of headphones, and they're able to switch the channels, so everybody's on a different page. They're all dancing to different music. You can see that there's no organization or anything for what they're doing. It's just chaos, right? And ultimately, when you take the lead of somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, you're ultimately getting into the same realm. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
I had an agent that came to me, and they know me, right? We have a professional relationship, not on the team. And he says, man, I don't know, this is going on. I don't know why this contract is, why everything's going sideways. So he shared it with me, and I looked at it and I said, you've been in the business a while. You know what you're doing. Why is this? And they said, well, the buyer's agent said that they needed to have it this way. And when I looked, it was the buyer's agent's first deal. Okay. And he was taking his guidance from that buyer's agent. We need to help guide them or make them realize, hey, listen, you may want to do it this way, but that doesn't make it right. Does that make sense? When you get out there, when you take the lead, whether it's, doing this silent disco or whatever you're doing, if you take the lead, that's what separates us and makes us the professional. Okay. Daniel, you've owned a company before, correct?
Yep.
And you were doing shipping, correct?
Yes. Delivering. Yep.
How many trucks did you have?
At the almost like close to 30.
30 trucks. Can you imagine if all your drivers came in one morning and you're like, hey, everybody go grab a package, just go.
No.
Right? I mean, it sounds funny, but you wouldn't do that, right? You organize them. These are going to this town. These are going to this town, and you send everybody on their merry way.
Mm-hmm.
So why would we do it here?
Why do we do it here? Just to make sure that everything goes smoothly and to the point, and make it happen in the fastest and the safest way possible. And that's,
Yeah, but my point is, why do you think agents will do that here? This is not pointed at anybody in this call, but why do you think agents are quick to, follow somebody that is less experienced, whether it's a less experienced agent or even a buyer or a seller that's on their own.
I thought you were saying why why follow. Okay, because you're not 100% sure of what you're doing, or sometimes it could be, the inexperience, or not to look cocky. I don't know.
Well, people don't want to be confrontational.
Yeah, rude.
Right?
Right. Fear.
What's that, Sherry?
Fear.
You,
I know.
yeah, they don't want to be seen as we're gonna have to get you a repeater or something. But we don't want to, people in general don't want to come off as being aggressive. They don't want to be seen as that person that's mean or whatever. But you're not being mean. You're being the professional. Okay, so we have to take the lead, right? Elisa, you did healthcare for years, right? How many people did you manage?
Let's say it was 10 regions, probably 255 hospitals. So it's had to, so at least 255 head of the hospitals.
Being in charge and running 255 hospitals. Has anybody ever been in a hospital? There's already all sorts of chaos going on in there, right? So this is why we need our systems, right? We here and if you're in EXP, you're using KV Core. If you're in another brokerage, you most likely have another system that you're using. But it is so important to use a system to stay on point, because it lets you get back and be the professional and lead the transaction where it needs to go. Does that make sense? Has anybody ever had a difficult situation that they want to share with somebody that was trying to lead the transaction down the wrong road?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Sure, now I can.
Sorry. So last night I wrote an offer, and I put seller to buyer's broker, and I put it on the contract and the whole thing. And the other agent, they were trying to school me. You don't ever put that on, and they crossed it out in big red cross outs. And they said, they were trying to school me, and I was so angry. But like you said, even though I know I was right, it wasn't about me being right. It wasn't that bad. I let them change it. There's one little thing that I'm like, but I didn't want to be confrontational. I don't want to put the buyer that I'm working with in a bad situation. So overall, is it worth it? No, so I acquiesced. But I just love when he was trying to school me. I'm like, do you know who I am? And I'm like, so I yelled at my husband instead, because I'm like, God, why does it have to be like this? Like, let's so I just compromised, and it was fine. But well, it wasn't necessary.
And you're talking in reference to the new rules with the commissions and all that stuff, correct?
Yeah, it was that, and it was something else. And they're like, they were just being so nitpicky. Like, it was okay. If it's okay and it protects the person that I'm working with, I kind of generally just leave it. And I did. I left something that I had to read 5 times. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to come back at them. They crossed it out, wrote something else. It's acceptable. It was about something else. But I'm like, it's fine. But they were just so, and then he was trying to teach me how I'm supposed to write my contract. I'm like,
And you're going to have people like that, and especially while this gets smoothed out as far as the commission stuff. People are going to, different people have different viewpoints on it. It'll get smoothed out real soon. But like, for example, I have a one I'm dealing with right now. It's a land contract. It's listed a little bit high, so we made our offer. I think we're not $8,000 low, below the list price. So the seller comes back, and it's one of these. He went to one of these brokers where for $500 they'll put your property in the MLS. Has anybody dealt with one of those yet? Flat rate brokers, they're horrible. Basically, what they do is they'll put your property in the MLS, and then they'll put your number and say, "Hey, call the owner because I'm not going to deal with you." right? So now I'm dealing with the owner of the property. The property's been on the market for 3 weeks with no price adjustments, no nothing. And the seller says, well, I appreciate the offer, but it's only been 3 weeks, and I don't know that I want to come down just yet. Already overpriced, right? So he's probably about 5,000 high. We came in a few $1,000s lower, but we're also cash, no contingencies, all that stuff. So now I have to educate him and let him know after the 3-week period what happens to a listing. Martha, you put your thumbs down. What?
Well,
It
it sort
gets
of goes to
stale.
the back burner, and they should have already discussed on to lower the price a little bit or make some kind of adjustment, because it just means nobody, especially if nobody's coming in to see it.
Yeah, we start to chase that price back down, right? And this is why it is so important for us to really maintain that professionalism. They are legally in their right to do this discount brokerage and for $500 post the properties in the MLS. But are we doing ourselves or the industry a service by doing that? No. I ran some ads with a radio station up in the Maryland area years ago, and I wasn't getting a lot of traction. And I asked the girl, the girl that did all the marketing. I said, what do you think the problem is? She says, well, your call to action is not strong enough. I said, well, what would be a recommendation you would make? She's like, well, we had one that had really good results, and his call to action was, I'll list any house for $499. I'm like, not even close to something I'm going to do. Why would I do that? Right? I mean, does anybody want to list a house for $400, $500? I can't even get pictures taken for $500. Right. So, and I understand certain agents will use it as leverage to get buyers and stuff, but it's not a good place to be. Does that make sense to everybody? So I want to hear from you guys, because I want this to be a conversation, not just me talking. So and we can go to the wheel of death if we need to, or one of you guys can jump up and volunteer. So who wants to tell us the value that they bring to the client and why they deserve to be in, running this transaction?
You can say it up stress free and honesty, diligence. Hardworking. That's
Yeah. What else do you bring though? Because hardworking, right? Everybody's going to say they're hardworking, right? But you have training. You've been through all the training, right? You have support from all over the place, right? For different aspects, depending on what you need, right? We have contract support. We have transaction support. We have marketing support, right? So in addition to everything else, I'm here to be the focal point and make sure that you stay on point. But in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I have my whole team behind me that's going to provide more support for you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Now we have different makeups on this team, right? So obviously some of you guys are on the team here. Gina, you work more independently. What is something that you do that brings value to the transaction for your clients?
Well, I'm just looking at my postcard. So I just listed something, and I just put this postcard out the other day, and I already got 2 phone calls. So I tell everybody that I'm like a concierge real estate agent, and I'm very hands-on. So like I will literally help people organize their house, like move things. I will help people pack. I do things that most people don't do. I don't charge for a lot of my extra stuff. My husband's also a remodeler, so I have a handyman on call. I do drone photography. I bought a drone. I'm reading my card. I do, I say professional photography, but I really do my photography myself and I filter it myself. So I don't pay anybody to do my photography.
Okay.
But I literally do a lot with decluttering and organizing and helping people get their houses ready to sell. And when they're older, I do a lot with seniors and I sit and listen. I'm very, very patient. So they talk to me for hours. It's a little overwhelming, but I just sit and listen, and people really want to, older people want to talk and they want you to hear what they have to say. And a lot of people will not spend time talking to them, but I do. So I always spend, I mean, it's been, it's been good and bad. I mean, one client wanted to put me in, like, has their emergency contact. I was like, not right now, please. You'll get me in trouble. But I'm very hands-on. So I offer a lot of different stuff just to use me. But I also, like, when I get my listings, I do my new listings, I charge my clients 3.5%. So, it is what it is. So far it's worked, but it might not coming out.
Yeah, when you show the value, you're not going to have as much trouble charging the higher rates, right? We just talked about the other guy charging $500 to put it in the MLS. She's charging 3.5% of whatever that price is, and I know she has some pretty hefty listings, right? Cost is only an issue in the absence of value, and that's what this is all about: is providing the value. Make sense? Shari, you looked like you jumped on. You were about to say something.
No, I switched off my phone and jumped on the computer. I got home, so I figured I'd like to see everybody better instead of driving. Sorry.
All right. You like talking to old people there, Shari?
Yes.
Okay. What do you bring of value when you're talking with your clients?
So, knowledge, soup to nuts, every single what if, and manage as many expectations as I can. And every mistake I make, I collect and don't make it again. And then I make another mistake, or I leave something I could have maybe caught, or I need to pay more attention to at the next deal. So then I collect that. Then I do that for the next one. So it's the smooth transactions, which there are. I know I only talk about the headache ones, are very smooth because of the infrastructure, the team, just like you guys were saying. I always have a showing partner. I have someone doing open houses. So either I'm showing or she's showing or he's showing, whoever. I refer to everyone wherever I have anything. So it's just, you don't get just me. I know I'm amazing, but it's, yeah, and especially, it's never just me. And I don't make it seem like I can't handle it, but for me, my angle, I just don't think that they should depend on me. Like, I have, Ken, we've got, Chris, all of you, and hopefully I've been able to give you guys referrals when I can. I just gave another one to somewhere up north. So like I said, it's the knowledge. And then I do go over all the contracts and everything that can possibly happen. And yeah, it's an unduplicatable kind of value proposition, because afterwards they're like, oh God, but everyone seems to, they like it and they feel really comfortable. You know what I mean? They know that if something happens, either I've already told them, and they're like, oh, okay, so it didn't appraise. What do we do now?
That's why it's a good idea to do your buyer presentation and listing presentation. So in my presentation, I always tell people that we're going to have a good laugh when you call me freaking out, because we're going over it all now. So
exactly. Yeah, don't forget, guys, I always preface this by saying all the rock stars have always done this, but we're listing the buyer. It's the same, even now that we have to do the buyer broker agreement, it is the reverse of the listing agreement. So just like you have a listing presentation, or you maybe even practicing with one, your buyer presentation has to be exactly tight like that, and why they should choose you, because everybody has an aunt, uncle, sister's cousin, grandma who's a realtor.
100%. Gina, you got your hand up?
Yeah, I forgot when you said knowledge, I completely forgot. This is how I'm feeling at the moment. I literally just I have my GRI, my SRES, my PSA, my RENE, my RSPS, and my CREN. So I can't get more qualified.
I
So
like
it is so that's another thing. So knowledge is definitely, key because people want to know why I'm going to use you over Joe Blow. And to me, I think, having certain things behind my name, especially for negotiation skills, it really makes a big difference.
Without a doubt. Martha, what about you? What do you bring to the table?
Hopefully the knowledge, and I'm like Gina, I'll do whatever a client needs. If they need help organizing and rearranging a house, I'm good with that because it makes it easier for me to sell their home.
Anybody see my post today about the motorcycle?
Yeah.
I need to sell that motorcycle so I can sell him a house. That's the only thing that's holding us up from getting pre-approved is his payment on his damn motorcycle.
Oh,
So he got
geez.
7 of them. We'll sell the one with the payment and get him to be able to buy his house. So sometimes we do have to step out of that realm a little bit. So I like it.
Well, I just think it builds a rapport when you're willing to step in and say, let's go through your house and see what we can do to make it really presentable so that you feel comfortable not having all your stuff out there and the people coming in can see themselves in the home.
Yeah. And that's how, us collecting up the furniture and bringing it back out to the vets started out, because I needed, you have buyers don't want it and the sellers don't want it. And, you all know on the contract, it says personal items. And basically it says that are not going to stay there. You put it on there, the stuff you want gone, right? The trampoline that otherwise the sellers are going to leave in the backyard that their kids grew up playing on, the $40,000 wood play set that's rotting in the backyard. I want it out of there. Well, obviously I can't use that for the vets, but when it comes down to couches and stuff like that, why would we have the argument about it? Right? I just bring it out to somebody, and now all of a sudden I provided more value because it's going to a good cause. Right? And the reason why I'm asking you guys this is because I need you guys, and you need to really concentrate on what your value is. So when it comes to guiding your people, you have to remember your value so you can show them down the right path. Make sense? Elisa, what about you?
Value to the customers. First of all, I'm listening and I'm ready to listen to them and see their ways how the problem might be solved differently. So show them the other path, so they don't think that they're stuck someplace, and I can see how it might be solved.
Yeah, the other thing that you bring, right, and we kind of gloss over it sometimes. Same thing with Ellie and Daniel. You guys speak multiple languages, right? People that come to this country, I mean, when you come to a country and you don't speak the native language, you're all of a sudden in an underserved area. So having those extra languages and being able to help those people that would otherwise fall prey to potentially a predator type of lender or realtor, it is super important for us to keep our people safe, right? Everyone, I know every one of you guys here personally, right? And we've all met. Some of you I know better than others, but everyone here is a good person, right? It is imperative that we do our job to keep them out of working with those people that we know don't have good intentions. Right? I'm sure everybody here, I know I have met agents that their only concern is the paycheck, and whatever happens along the way, they don't care.
So many agents.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, I say all the time that, realtors, we are our own worst enemy. right?
Well, I think that if you're not the kind of see, I feel like this is obviously it's a sales job, but it's really like a people person job. If you're not like a people person, you really shouldn't be in this job, because it's not just about the paycheck. Because Joe Blow is not going to say, "Oh yeah, you really should call Gina if I just worry about my paycheck."
Mhm.
If I'm constantly doing nothing and not caring about anything, I mean, if they tell me a whole story and I don't comment, or I just sit there and I'm like, why is this person talking to me? Like, that's what people do. Other agents are very uncaring, and they just don't care about what they have to say. They just want to get their paycheck, put it on the market, and move on. They're lockbox agents. I go to every one of my showings. I'm not a lockbox agent, it's like a latchkey kid. I'm not like that.
That's going to depend on the show, and we can have that's
Right. If it's too far away, obviously, I mean, if I have something in Boynton, then I'll tell one of my friends to go there for me, because I have a listing coming up in Boynton and it's an hour and 20 minutes for me or whatever. But if it's like around, within the vicinity I can get to in a reasonable amount of time, I would drive there for anybody.
okay. I like it. Ellie, what do you bring to the table?
Hello, everybody. Chris, I think I'm still trying to define myself in the field, and I'm picking from all of you with a lot of experience. Like, for example, I just had my friend pick me as her agent, and I was extremely happy. But she knows me from my legal background, and she knows how dedicated I can be and meticulous about paperwork. So she trusts me with that information. So I think I'm seeing myself more as I get more involved in the field. I think I can see more of my qualities portraying a little more. So I think so far, that's what I can tell. And also from what's it, Gina? This past weekend I drove 1 hour and 40 minutes to Fort Lauderdale to do 4 showings for her. So that shows also my dedication, and I'm there for them and to answer any questions, work with it. And I also handpicked those houses for her because I believe also that I'm a good listener. I'm picking up from Carrie and all of you. Listening to your clients, I think, is number one priority for us, because again, yes, this is a people business. So listening to their needs, exactly what they want. I'm not just showing them any house. I'm just handpicking from what they told me. So I think I'm seeing myself more and more in the field. So hopefully, I don't know, in the future, I can tell you better what I bring to the table.
And that's fine. You'll get more of that, and that will come naturally with your experience. But what you just said, the ability to really jump out of your out there and help that client and give them the attention that they need. Ellie, while you are newer into the business, you have an advantage that some of us don't have. I don't, my focus is not just on selling homes, right? I have to run the team. I have other obligations on me. So for somebody that wants the hand holding, and I had somebody that called me or texted me earlier, I can talk right now, call me right now. I'm like, no, I mean, that's not, I'm in the middle of a meeting. I don't have that ability, nor will, I'm not going to entertain it, but you have the ability to be more flexible and give that dedicated attention to that client. So while you determine what you bring, identify the fact of what you do bring, because you got some great attributes there. Sound good?
It sounds great. Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely. Elisa?
And I think in the end of the day, everybody who's working in referrals or, like a service businesses, the main thing is what their clients, friends, or people tell when they recommend us to somebody. What they will say, I recommend Chris, Gina, Daniel, Marta, Ellie, Sherry, Jennifer, Lisa, because. Yes, and because of what? Because they could understand me. She's good listener. She does talk quickly or whatever it is. I think that's the most important part, to listen in advance what people are telling about us, because sometimes we are not also the listening, not just people's kind of issues or complaints or what they want, wishes, also need to hear what they're telling about us, even like a friends, family, what's our strongest side, and ask them about our strongest side, why they're refer us when they talk to the people, not just realtor, like a friends or, like a parent or any other thing, like a pet owner and anything else. So what they seen in us, what's make us different among other people.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. I like it. Jennifer, what about you?
Hi. I think for me, I am a very patient person when it comes to working with people. And I'm, when people don't understand forms or how to upload things, I sit and I take the time, and I'll go and say, hey, let's meet and let's scan all your documents when they're questioning, "Well, how do I get all this to the mortgage broker?" Like, I will sit with them and hold their hand
I like
and
it.
make the process easy.
Making the process easy, right? I can already hear in this guy's voice as I'm talking to this owner that's trying to, negotiate with me on this deal. I can hear the chaos. He doesn't know what's going on. So you're 100%. That is our job to make this easy, right? Or as easy as possible. Every contract has a hiccup in it, right? Every contract. I don't think I've ever seen one without something. But the thing about it is, when you know what you're looking for, we pick it up, we fix it real fast, and we get it done, right? Where the clients don't even know about it. So, yeah, that's awesome, Jennifer. Anything else?
And positivity. I'm a very happy, positive person.
Oh, folks, you got to be positive in this business, right? I have seen agents go into houses and they're like, oh, that wall is horrible. And meanwhile, the client was just thinking, that was their favorite wall in the place, or the kitchen or whatever it is. And you can really shoot your clients down real fast. Sherry?
So one more thing too, and I keep having discussions with people about this. First of all, if there's something that you do that's not detrimental, that's positive to run your business, and everyone else tells you, oh, I don't do that and I think you're crazy, as long as it's not, a bad thing, stick with it. Again, people give me a hard time about having showing partners and going to all my closings. I mean, I go to all of my closings, and I had two well into triple digit producers who've been doing this for a long time telling me that I'm wasting my time and I need to work harder during those hours and not go to my closings. For me, I mean, maybe they're right. It the hour and a half and the drive, maybe it interrupts my day, but that first time home buyer who I sit next to, who is can you imagine, for me, them all by themselves with no one but the title closer, and just sitting there, and if they have a question, and what if the lender's not on top of things, what if the other agent's there? I mean, it's and I have, like I said, I really respect these two people. They make $500,000 a year or more. Icon all the time told me I'm doing it wrong. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll send a representative or something. Maybe I'll be that busy too. But I don't know.
On settlement day, that's your last moment to really have that connection and celebrate the finish line. Right? There's a guy that runs around here, and he's a notary, and his thing is that you don't have to go to the settlement. I'll cover it for you. Now the thing about it is, he's 5'3", 400 pounds, and he always smells like McDonald's.
Oh
right?
my.
McDonald's. And his tagline is, let me be the last person your client sees. I'm like, I don't understand that. Why would I want that? That doesn't make sense. So, to put that into a visual for you, it's the culmination of the whole event. You need to be there. Gina, you had your hand up next.
Well, two things. First of all, just like Sherry said, it's not both of you said, it's not my choice whether to say your house looks pretty or ugly or or what you should do, because everybody's taste is different. So like, if somebody sends me a listing and says, I want to see this house, and I already know that it looks yucky, doesn't mean that it looks yucky to them. So I have to always just take and shut up, not say one word, and just be positive and just say, great, this looks fabulous. Let's go see it. And then they'll say like, ew. And then I say, whatever. But it is, I already know what it looks like. I know how people filter pictures. I know, or if the pictures are absolutely horrible. I mean, I absolutely see some moronic agents putting the toilet seats open and everything is so ridiculous, but people want to see them. And I'm like, okay, like that's crazy. So but I also want to say, since you said, Chris, that you have, somebody asked you to talk right now and you couldn't do it because you had other things to do. That's one thing I absolutely need to work on, because I had clients call me at 11 o'clock at night and I keep wanting to say no, but then I feel bad because they're older. They don't even understand what's going on. They're literally in their 80s. And I felt bad. So I would take the phone call, but my husband would say, you have to have a limit.
Yeah.
So at 9 o'clock or whatever, 8 o'clock, you're done talking to clients, customers. Sorry, Sherry.
Oh, you're good. You have to turn this. There has to be the systems, and you have to turn this into the machine, right? It's a machine. If you don't run this thing like a machine, it will become a monster, and it'll become a monster that you cannot control. So when I hear agents call me or say, call me anytime, 24/7, I cringe. Right? Because no, I'm not answering the phone call at midnight. It's not going to happen. Right? So, but yeah, so I like it. Definitely got to work on that. I don't take phone calls at 11 o'clock at night. My phone goes to sleep, just so you know. Jennifer, you got your hand up?
I just wanted to support Sherry in going to all of the closings. Sorry, barking. I go to all my closings with bells and whistles on, balloons, even for my renters, because it's an exciting day for them. And I want to celebrate that. It deserves to be celebrated, and it should be me. I feel like they're celebrating with them. So
yeah,
I agree, Sherry.
I agree also. I go to all my settlements if they're here. I do a lot of remote settlements. So obviously if they're out of town, I'm not going. But if they're here, I want to be there. Right? Celebrate with them.
It's like a party. It's so anticlimactic if you don't go. Like, oh, we close, here's your check. I'm like, okay.
This is right. So let's just take this into look at it from different perspectives. What other business do you know? Right? Technically, yes, we're sales, right? But if you buy a house today, is that house going to go down in value or up in value over the next 10 years? Up. If we go buy a car on the same day today, what's going to happen in 10 years? Right? A TV, a toaster oven. It doesn't matter what you buy. All of these things depreciate. This is one of the only items out there that will appreciate and significantly. Right? This is how we create generational wealth for our people. Right? This is bigger. It's so much bigger than just, let me put you into this 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, over here. And we know that it's bigger. And if you need any proof, why is it bigger? Even with this lawsuit, we still have sellers running to the table to say that they're going to go ahead and pay the buyer broker commission, right? Because they know, right? They know the importance of this, right? It is what it is. If not, we'd have Carvana for houses. Zillow's tried it. It didn't work, right? We've had these other ones. They've tried it. It doesn't work. These iBuyers, they don't work, right? Because they need us. They need the people that can navigate these things. You don't go into the store, pick out a house, and walk out, 4 to 5 hours later after running a credit app. This is typically a 30 to 45 day process once you find the right house. I'm not even talking about the hunting process. 30 to 45 days, right, to get that house. There's a lot that can go wrong in there, right? This is where we need the value. This is where, I show you things like the silent disco. It's goofy, right? But that's what happens when everybody's listening to different music. And right now, with all the settlement stuff, people are listening to different music, different brokers saying different things. And we need to be confident about the training that we've had and why we bring more value. Make sense? Jennifer?
That was just up from earlier.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw it pop back up. So, but yeah, so we need to take control, and not in a nasty way. I have it here. I have a book, and I'll send it to you. But it's called "Never Split the Difference." All right, and I forget the author's name. He's actually a former FBI negotiator, right? And that's where he started with his negotiations. But he talks about never splitting the difference. It's a negotiate. He talks about negotiating, but what he talks about in there is that a good negotiation leaves everybody feeling that they won. Right. So I'm not saying go in there with, like a hammer and beating up on everybody and, with red ink and send a contract back to another agent. Right. I mean, you would have to really get under my skin for me to do that. And if I do that, I don't want to be confrontational, but I know how to when the time is right. Right. We all got to work together. We got to be professional and guide these things, guide our people. And if you do it right, these people will become lifelong clients, and their friends and family will become lifelong clients as well. Make sense? And one of the things that I like that's pretty cool too is these automate the valuations that we can send out from our websites, right? Put them on a drip once a month. They get the updated value. They like seeing those things coming up. Oh, the value's going up. It's going up, going up, going up. Right? Little things like that. Cards. We all have our different tactics, but you got to show the value. Jeannie, you got your hand up?
Yeah, I'm a little confused though on that $585 thing that now we can do for EXP, which makes it a little bit similar to a flat fee brokerage. Like that is a little bit confusing to me because I was really shocked when I heard about it.
That's the minimum company dollar. It's always been. It's
always
always
been?
been.
Always
Since
been.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
All they've done with this whole thing, right? This whole lawsuit thing, all they did with, who knows what a fruitcake is?
I know some. Sorry. Yes.
All right. What's significant about the fruitcake, right? You get a fruitcake, you rewrap it, you give it to somebody else, right? Because nobody wants the fruitcake. Okay. It's the same thing. They rewrapped it in a new wrapper, and they're like, oh, now the seller doesn't have to pay. But yes, they do. Here, sign this. We're going to wrap it and put it in a different wrapper. It's the same thing. The minimum company dollars have always been. And there will always be some agent that is racing to the bottom of the barrel to undercut and put himself out of business and then cause damage to the industry while he's doing it. Right? This is why I say agents, we are our own worst enemy, because we do stupid stuff like this. Right? And I'm not saying it's anybody necessarily right here, but it's the person sitting to your left and right that are doing these types of things. You will have somebody in the EXP that will do that. Right? Hopefully it won't be very many of them. Right? And if they do it, they're not going to last very long. Does that make sense? But those numbers have always been there. So don't that's the one thing you have to keep in mind here. These things, it's all of a sudden in the light, right? And so everybody's looking at this stuff, seeing all the stuff that they never read. And if you read your ICA, it's all in your ICA. You signed it a long time ago. So, and it doesn't matter what brokerage you're with, it's in your ICA. Promise you. Sound good? Any other thoughts on that? So now looking at this, do you guys see how you bring value and how you can, take lead on this and why it's so important to take lead? I had a female client not too long ago, maybe, I don't know, a year or two ago. And she came to me and she said, Chris, I want to move. I want to sell my house. I want to move over to the next town over because she liked the schools and it had public water in the new area. She's currently on well water. Okay. Great. You want to sell and buy with me? Awesome. I got over to the house, looked at the house, did the market analysis. I had to tell her, not a good idea for you to sell. I mean, she had the equity. We could have sold that thing. I would have had it sold in a couple weeks. But I knew that she couldn't buy anything on the other end, not to keep herself in a lifestyle that she wanted to stay in. Right? So we have to take that guidance. Now, at the time, she was pretty upset with me when I said I wouldn't sell her house. But afterwards, she sent like 3 referrals over because she realized that I actually did it in her best interest. And sometimes people aren't going to like what you have to say if you're actually giving them the what's going on and how to keep them safe. But once they realize it and they start to calm down, they will realize that you acted in their best interest. Make sense? I'm passionate about this stuff because, one, I do actually enjoy what I do. And when I look back on the people that I've impacted and the people that I've helped, and being in the business for over a decade, the people that I've built, tremendous amounts of wealth for, it's pretty awesome when you look at it, over a long-term scale of it. Make sense? So be the professional, get out there, lead your clients into making the right decision. I'm not saying don't listen to them. Listening is huge, right? I think, Ellie, you were talking about going over to Fort Lauderdale, right? And because you listen to your client, that is huge. If you listen to your client, but yet guide them and take the leadership role, you'll be golden. Sound good? Anybody have any thoughts or questions? I know we're a little bit ahead of schedule.
Two things. Just a little side business. Anybody that was supposed to have a Zoom with me tomorrow at 10:30, obviously I can't. I have to cancel because of the jury duty because, they won't like that. And then those of you, no matter what brokerage you're with, if you're in Stellar, okay, they finally removed the seller concession, yes or no. But now they want you to put a dollar amount in there. A dollar amount. Yes, not a percentage. Please don't. Remember what I told you guys. Right. Your brokerage goes first, your MLS is second, FAR is the highest. And FAR and the law, and I'm sure your brokerage said, please keep all dollar percentage amounts out of your MLS. Peter Bonanno sent it to me. I just read it. It said, don't put a percentage, put a dollar amount. Please don't. It's $6,000 or $2,000 is a lot of money to pay.
Oh yeah. I don't want to be paying $2,000.
Yeah.
So you're saying where it says, say yes or no if you're offering.
No,
You're in Beaches, Gina. You're not. This is a different MLS.
Yeah.
Okay, but it does have that, in the MLS and Beaches, it says compensation, yes or no. And I don't even answer it. I leave it blank.
Yeah, just leave it alone.
Yeah. That was my public service announcement for the evening. Thank you, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is where we have to, remain and remember our training, right? Because unfortunately, just because the MLS doesn't mean it's correct. And we may be right, we may follow what they told us, but if we're still in the wrong, you're still going to get in trouble for it. So maybe you won't have to pay the fine once I put it back on the MLS, but it's still going to be a headache until then. All right. And I'd much rather be calling, trying to make one more sale than trying to tell them that they're stupid and they need to remove my fine. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. Sound good? Any last minute thoughts or questions, concerns? All right. I know we went down a little bit of a different path. Does this help you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, folks, I'm excited. I think that this next year is going to be a wild ride. I'm already seeing the internet traffic that's bumping up. People are coming in, people that want to buy. We have some things that will concern people over the next 8 months, but people are coming out and they realize that they want to make the moves. At the end of the day, people's lives change. Their families expand. They get smaller. They retire. They relocate for all different reasons. So people will have needs to buy and sell homes. So stay motivated. Help your friends. Help your family. Get out in front of everybody. And don't be a secret agent. Sound good?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I will see all of you guys here real soon. Let me know if you need anything.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.